Okay, we have a Sicilian defense. We don't know a lot about our opponent, just that he comes from the US, but nothing about his strengths, so we need to be aware. I wonder if I could just deviate from normal patterns. I don't want an opening fight, so let's play it a little unusual. So let's play for the center with d2, d4 later on. He might play e7, e5 now, but then there would be a hole on the white square on d5. Yeah, this was my aim, to win a little bit of time. Okay, he switches into the Sveshnikov, into the so-called Sveshnikov. Yeah, I know this pawn sacrifice, so I mean I can take here and couple of moves later my king is exposed in the center, so I take here, he takes on d1, I have to take back, then he can play bishop g4 and castle quickly, so it's not that easy to play. But do I have a choice? I'm not very familiar with this opening. If I leave it like this, no, I can't do it. Yeah. So now he's almost forced to take here
Check.
on d1, and now he will play bishop g4. So I want to keep my pawn protected. And if he doesn't take now on f3, I can protect my knight with either bishop e2 or knight b1 to d2. So if he wants some kind of compensation, he needs to take now, and that's what he does. But I have the pairs of bishops. They might be strong. So even if he plays rook e8 now and wins back the pawn, I would still have the bishop pair, but he wouldn't win the pawn because I win a tempo with bishop h3, and then I play rook e1.
Check.
Well, after he moves his king to one of the dark squares, I can even move my pawn forward with a check. So my two bishops now are really quite strong here on those two diagonals. Yeah. But what will he do if I play rook d1 check? He needs to go with the king in front of the pawn.
Check.
Yeah, but this is no place where a king can be really comfortable.
Black resigns.
And there was even a mate with rook d7 now. What to learn from the game? I mean, this was a really quick game in the sense, both time-wise. Although we both had like 10 minutes time to play the game, we just spent like 2 or 3 minutes each, and it just was like 12 moves. This all was theory until move 6. So this position, in my opinion, generally, I mean, e5 is a pawn sacrifice. I win a pawn now, but in exchange of the pawn sacrifice, black has an easy way to develop his pieces, and that's what he should continue to do. Maybe he should even try, you know, to not to try to get back the pawn on e5, but to even develop quicker, like with a move like f6. Yeah, pawn f6, and if I play ef6, he takes back with a knight, and then he will quickly castle maybe kingside, also develop his bishop. And what he does now is that he wants to get back this pawn, and he wants to destroy my pawn structure and win time by castling long. But I think this is a wrong idea, because the bishop on g4 is a good bishop now, and when he exchanged the bishop,
check.
Yeah, it's true, my pawn structure is not that good anymore, but in this kind of position, in my opinion, pawn structure is not that important. The power of this bishop is enormous. There is no counterpart, no white squared bishop on the black side. So this bishop, if you look how many possibilities there are, this diagonal, like in the game, is very strong for the bishop. If there was a bishop on e6, for example, from black, I couldn't go to e6. But there is even more opportunities, or there are more opportunities, like bishop e5, I can take here, or bishop c4, having control over this diagonal. So the bishop on f1 is almost a monster now.
Check.
And this already is like a, yeah, a real mistake. A real mistake. I mean, he wins time, but the king is not safe on the queen side, because my bishops are too strong.
Check.
What does he want to do now? I mean, I threaten bishop h3. Simple as that. He can't go away, because if he goes away, I just play e5, e6 with a check. So
check.
Yeah, I don't see a lot of opportunities for him now. This was maybe, yeah, was a try,
check.
But even if there was no mate, but it is a mate, this position is terrible for black. All these pieces on the king side are not developed. I will quickly move my knight away. I could jump via a3 to c4 or b5, maybe later on to d6. Could also try to go via e4. There are a lot of possibilities from to attack this pawn on c5 or g5. So this is a very quick development, yeah. And what does he want to do with his pieces? There's not so much. So be careful when you exchange, or when you think you get like an destroy the pawn structure of the opponent, but you give some other things away. Like in this case, you gave away a very important bishop. The bishop on g4 of black was a good bishop, and this is the reason, the missing bishop in this game, why black lost. A bishop pair is quite powerful. So yeah, try to keep your bishops, and if you give your bishops away, it needs to be like a good reason to do so. It's not enough just to be a pawn down and destroy the pawn structure. That's certainly not enough.